Experience 21st century learning. Experience friendships that last a lifetime. Experience the world through international opportunities at West Virginia State University. Experience a dynamic learning environment with over 80 areas of study, intimate class sizes, and affordable tuition. West Virginia State University. Experience the power of education.
Welcome back, fans, to the campus of West Virginia State University and the Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Lee France. Assistant coach and offensive coordinator Kip Shaw, our next guest. Coach Shaw, welcome. Appreciate it.
I thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Coach, first of all, let's talk about your background a little bit and tell me about your days as a player here at West Virginia State University. I see that brings a big smile to your face.
Well, I was born in Clarksburg, West Virginia, actually raised in Oklahoma, kind of between Tulsa and Muskogee. Ended up coming to school here after I played at Salem. It was Salem University then. Salem Takeo actually played for Rich Rodriguez the first year he was head coach, and they dropped the program on us, had an opportunity to come here and play football for, my first head coach was Coach Moore. Coach Monroe was actually my defensive coordinator, and so that's how we had a relationship, known Coach for a long time. And then my last 2 years I actually played for Bob Goebel, who was here. So had a good experience here at State. Kind of gives me insight when I'm out on the road recruiting, able to tell kids what to expect if they come to school here.
Again, pulling up your bio, assistant coach and receivers coach at Southeast Missouri State. What about your memories there?
Oh, I had a lot of great memories there. Coach Billings, who was my boss there, great man. Actually left Marshall University with him. He was the defense coordinator there. Took me with him. Actually came in and said, "Hey, son, we're moving to Cape Girardeau, Missouri." So we had a really good relationship. I was assistant head coach for 5 of the 6 years we were there. And, you know, we had some great players, great graduation rate. I had a lot of guys that went to the NFL out of that program, and actually took to the school to its first ever 1AA national ranking. So a lot of good memories there.
Graduate assistant under head coach Bob Pruitt at Marshall, and they had a few good teams there. Under Coach Pruitt, you went to a couple of bowl games. Tell me about those type of memories.
Those are big memories for me because that's where I got the basis of my college football coaching. Learning from the offensive staff there, Coach Tony Peterson, who's back there as the offensive coordinator. You know, you're around guys like Chad Pennington, Byron Leftwich, Doug Chapman, a lot of great players, learned a lot of great football, but, you know, learned how to be a good football coach from Coach Pruitt. You know, a lot of what I do now on the basis of my coaching comes from what I learned at Marshall University. I mean, the winningest program in the 90s, and I was able to be a part of that, MAC championships, coaching in 2 big bowl games. You know, it's a great experience for me, great learning experience also.
And I know it's been 4 or 5 seasons ago, but you interviewed for the head coaching position here. Coach Monroe got it. What was that position, or not the position, but that like for you, that when you come in to interview and then you don't get it, but you know what, you're going to be hired as the offensive coordinator?
Well, you know, my biggest thing there, and I told Coach when he called me about taking the job, is I just wanted to move that back this way. Wanted to be a part of trying to get this university back on track. You know, as an alum, you want the program to do well. And they gave Coach Monroe the job, and I was tickled to death that he would call and offer me the offense coordinator position. You know, knew Coach, knew he was a great coach from the time playing for him. So I was excited. People know me. I know I'm not a big ego guy, so I don't worry about things that didn't happen or should happen and all that. You know, things like that don't bother me. You know, Coach has been good to me, lets me do my thing, my offense. You know, so I have nothing but praise and appreciation for what he did for me.
Going back a few years to your 2007 year, that was a pretty special year. Finished second in offense in the league. Tell me a little bit about that year, your memories.
That was a big year. You know, we were getting older. Jermaine King's first year, Kevin OBrien had learned a lot. You know, we really flourished as an offense. We were getting older. You know, the guys we had brought in were performing the way we expected them to perform, and we had a lot of success. But the key to that year was we were balanced. We could run the football, which, you know, anybody knows if you can run the football, it's going to open up your passing game. And with Kevin's big arm and the receivers we had, you know, we had a lot of success, you know, and hopefully that's what we can get back to.
What was that like watching Kevin OBrien, the school's now all-time leading passer, and you had a hand in that?
It was a great feeling. At the time, J.R. Kinney was his position coach. Kevin had a big arm, but the thing that was special about Kevin is he studied a lot of film. He was a true student of the game, and I was excited to see the young man go out there and flourish, and was able to go out and get him some receivers that could help him attain. Kevin will be the first to tell you his goal was to get the ball out of his hands as fast as possible and let the receivers do the work. And that's kind of the basis for our offense, and he ran it to the T, so he knew what he was doing.
This team this year has obviously gotten off to a really rough start. No wins yet. What are your major concerns right now as you head in to play Seton Hill this coming weekend?
Well, my biggest concern is West Virginia State's offense. We've got to play more physical, both on the offensive line and out of the backfield, and we've got to have some success running the football. If we can't run the football and take the pressure off our two young quarterbacks, it's going to be a tough year. The biggest thing I think we need to concentrate, as opposed to worrying so much about Seton Hill, is we need to get better as an offense. I think the thing I'm most proud of is my players haven't quit. These guys, they fight until the last minute. But like I tell them, we've got to start off better. We've kind of started off slow. You look at last week against Concord, no points in the first half. Second half, got a little bit of a spark from Ricky going in there, and we're able to put some things together that showed that we can be successful if we play all 60 minutes.
What has impressed you about this team so far this year?
That not quitting. I mean, I think the thing about last year's team is we had a problem there where we weren't a team, together. And I think this team, through camp, you could see that we were going to be a close football team, and we've stuck together. We have to do what we need to do to help our defense. We put our defense in a bunch of tough situations, and we haven't given them anything to be excited about. And we've got to go out and score points and help get some enthusiasm and some emotion into our defense and give them a reason to stand behind us and help protect our leads.
Just from listening to you, I'm going to ask you, but I think I might know, what has to get better immediately for this team to be competitive? Is it just the running game, that end?
Well, I think we just need to play physical, and we need to play faster. And, if you play physical, you're going to be able to run the football. And that's something that we're lacking offensively. We need to go out and push people back and say, hey, this is what's going to happen to you. This is what we're going to do. And I think that's going to help us be successful down the road. And I think the first 4 games, learning experience, we can't say we're young anymore. These guys have played 4 games now. We've got to go out there and produce. We've got to do a much better job.
Talk a little bit, if you will, about Robert Jackson and Ricky Phillips, the difference between those guys, or maybe even the similarities, but what it's like to coach those guys.
Well, you're talking about 2 good kids, 2 guys that have really worked hard, come in, study film a lot. BJ is kind of a technician. I say, he comes in, he studies film, and he's got this thing where he's going to do exactly what I tell him to do in his read. Ricky studies film and all that, but Ricky's got a little bit of that. I'm going to try and push the limits and see. They're 2 different guys, but they both are capable of leading this offense, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to be able to run the ball and take the pressure off of them. But both of these young men got to understand that we have to have them make plays, at their position. I'm not big on saying, hey, I need them to manage the game. I need these young men to go out and manage, but I also need them to make plays and help our offense be successful.
Ricky seems like in his first 4 games he's got a lot of good mobility, good field awareness. What does that mean as you're up there or upstairs or on the field calling the plays?
Oh, that's big. I mean, it's like I heard Coach mention earlier. You have to account for him now because his feet can help get him out of trouble. You saw that against Concord. So it's big. And, part of the package that we put in for him lets him use his feet a little bit more, and it forces defenses to account for him. And if they come out of coverage, well, we're good enough at receiver where he's going to get the ball down and burn you. But if you stay in, well, his legs are going to burn you.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like for you to draw up a play that works and then that difference of drawing up a play that didn't go anywhere.
Well, I'm hoping all of them work. But, I tell you, the one thing I preach to my kids is about being humble because this offense can get shoved down your throat any week. So, every time we go and we say put the play on the board, we're hoping it works and we're fired up about it. And you get out there, and if it works, you're elated. But if it's not, you kind of got in the back of your mind, this is something you put on the board, and you're hoping that they do this as you prepared and watch them every day on film. You're hoping that there's preparation, that you're going to see the defense lined up, but you just never know. It's always a toss-up.
What's your toughest challenge as a coach, whether it's been your assistant head coach or as an offensive coordinator? What challenges you and gets you to the field each day, I guess?
Well, what I challenge is I want to make a difference in these young men's life. I mean, I want to win football games, don't get me wrong. But the thing I always tell our kids is I don't care if they ever play a down of football. My goal for these young men is to come here and graduate. You know, hopefully our young kids, when they leave here, however many years they played here, they have their degree in one hand and their championship rings in the other, and they're able to go. That's what motivates me and challenges me every day is I want these young men to leave here and be better men than they are better ball players.
That's going to do it for us, folks. That is going to wrap up this edition of the Coach's Corner right here on the campus of West Virginia State University. I want to thank my guests, Coach Monroe, Ricky Phillips, and Kip Shaw. Join us each and every Thursday night at 7 o'clock for the latest on Yellow Jacket football. Until next week, for everyone involved in this production of the Coach's Corner, I'm Lee France saying good night and go Jackets.